Call the meeting in order for the Village of Round Lake Beach, our board meeting for Monday, April 13th, 2015. Please call the roll.
Trustee Husk.
Here.
Trustee Valdez. Trustee Smith.
Here.
Trustee Butler.
Here.
Trustee Mount.
Here.
Trustee Mattingly. Mayor Hill.
Here. Let the record reflect we have a quorum present. Could I please have a motion to allow Trustee Mattingly to join electronically?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Butler, second by Trustee Valdez. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Welcome, Trustee Mattingly.
Thank you, Mayor.
Would y'all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Trustee Husk, second by Trustee Smith. Once again, any additions or deletions for the agenda? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The agenda is approved as written. We have the request for approval of the March 23rd, 2015 public hearing minutes. Any corrections or clarifications? Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Motion by Trustee Mount, second by Trustee Butler. Once again, any questions, clarifications? Again, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Those minutes are approved. We have approval of the March 23rd, 2015 council meeting minutes. Any corrections or clarifications on those? If not, is there a motion to approve? Motion by Trustee Valdez, second by
Second.
Trustee Smith. Any questions, clarifications? Again, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that's also approved. So we have expenditures tonight. Back to my right page here. $663,349.71. The board has had a chance to review all those. The staff have gone through them all also, to make sure there's nothing that doesn't belong there. Any of the trustees have any questions on those? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Mount, second by Trustee Husk. Once again, any questions on the payment of the bills? Please call the roll.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez. Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
That's approved. We have no ratifications tonight. Before we begin, though, if I could just ask for a moment of silence in remembrance of Trustee Mattingly's daughter. She passed away suddenly on Saturday. I think she's only 39 years old. And Trustee Mattingly, our hearts go out to you and your family. And just ask for a moment of silence, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
We move on to reports. Are there any reports, Trustee Mount?
Yes, I do. I have a SWALCO report tonight. We have our first household chemical waste mobile collection coming up Saturday, April 25th, here in beautiful downtown Round Lake Beach at the Metro Station. It'll be from 8 in the morning till 2:30 p.m. So everybody can clean out their garages, their basements. First time we've had one in 3 years, so we're excited. We're hoping to get over 600 cars again like we did, 3 years ago. We also have 3 collections every month for household chemical waste by appointment only at our Essex Street facility in Gurnee. So go to swalco.org and you can make an appointment and visit those locations either on a Saturday or Mondays throughout the month. Electronic collections are at 6 different locations throughout Lake County. Grays Lake Public Works, located on Berry Street, is the closest to Round Lake Beach. It's open Monday through Saturday. Pharmaceutical and sharp items are collected at the Round Lake Beach Police Station. Items there can be placed in the bins during normal business hours. We also have clothing and textile recycling in a bin that's located on the east side of the building of the Round Lake Beach Public Works. and that's available 24/7 for all your solid waste needs. Go to swalco.org, and everybody remember, recycle first.
Trash last.
Thank you.
Thank you, trustee Mount. Any other announcements tonight by the trustees? Okay, we'll move on to our mayor's report then. We have several items here. First one is a resolution in support of the League of Illinois Bicyclists, a Mayor's Bicycle Safety Challenge. This is also something online you can go on and kind of test yourself, see what your knowledge is of bicyclists and how to drive with them on the road with you safely and so forth. I did all three phases of that. It was kind of interesting. Learned a few things along the way, which help more and more people go through this. We'd have our clerk please read the resolution.
Whereas the League of Illinois Bicyclists has launched the Mayor's Bicycle Safety Challenge, a new campaign that engages Illinois cities at the local level. Whereas the League of Illinois Bicyclists has invited 400 Illinois mayors to join the challenge and lead by example in encouraging their residents to take our educational bicyclist or motorist quiz at bikesafetyquiz.com. And whereas the League of Illinois Bicyclists are asking you to contact your mayor to request your town's participation in the Mayor's Bicycle Safety Challenge. And whereas Elgin, Normal, Collinsville, Chester, and other mayors have already joined in our effort to promote bicycle safety education. And whereas the League of Illinois Bicyclists has extended an invitation to the Village of Round Lake Beach to encourage their residents to take our educational bicyclist or motorist quiz at bikesafetyquiz.com. And therefore be it resolved that the Village of Round Lake Beach supports the League of Illinois Bicyclists' efforts in promoting the Mayor's Bicycle Safety Challenge.
Is there a motion to approve? Motion by trustee Smith, second by trustee Husk. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Great, thank you. We have a lot of kids in our community, and a lot of times they use the sidewalks. A lot of other areas of town, there aren't any sidewalks, and it really shouldn't be on the sidewalks anyways, a bike, but that's what happens most of the time. And it's safer for the kids. But when people are on the other streets that don't have sidewalks, it can be a little harrowing, thinner streets, not as much room. So the more people know about getting around those people safely, it is good, because we have to work and be out there together.
Mayor, it's a good thing that now that spring's here and summer, we just remind all the residents that our speed limit in our town is 25. And in front
the
of
side streets, yeah.
all the parks is 20. So we want to make sure that everybody goes those speed limits, for the safety of our children who are playing in the parks and riding their bicycles on the streets.
Yep.
So,
Thank you. That's the item 2 here is a resolution in support of the turnaround agenda for local government empowerment and reform. The governor had sent out his turnaround agenda to all the communities, asking for support. Right now, Illinois is in a fiscal crisis. We've known that for many years, but still nothing's been done about it. We talked about this last Monday at our committee meeting, and we are supporting the turnaround agenda. The only part that we took out was the issue about the local, what was it called here? Get down to it. Oh, boy, you're completely out. Can't see it.
empowerment zones.
Oh, the local empowerment zones, yes. Something like that, in my opinion, if it's gonna be done, it has to be done statewide. It's not something that we can realistically do on a local level. But I think the state needs to do something, and something pretty drastic, in order to stop the state from collapsing and have a life for our kids here. Otherwise, the state's gonna keep on going down the toilet here. Anyone on the board have any concerns or questions about the turnaround agenda as presented? If not, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Mount, second by trustee Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hey, great, I will get that sent out to the governor then, and also the Illinois Municipal League and the Lake County Municipal League, so they all have that in their hands. And I'm not sure what all is gonna happen downstate, but like I said, they need some definite structural reform down there. Otherwise, we're not gonna get anywhere. Let's see, the third item is recognition, resolution in recognition of April as National Autism Awareness Month. This is one of trustee Mattingly's, very near and dear to his heart, and motion to approve.
So moved.
So moved, Mayor.
Motion by trustee Mattingly,
Second.
second by trustee Husk. I'm sorry, please read the resolution.
Whereas April 15th, 2015 is designated as National Autism Awareness Month in order to increase public awareness of the need to support individuals with autism and the family members and medical professionals who care for individuals with autism. And whereas autism is a developmental disorder that is typically diagnosed during the first 3 years of life, affecting a person's ability to communicate and interact with others. And whereas autism affects an estimated 1 in every 68 births in the U.S. and is more likely to occur in boys than in girls. And whereas prevalence of autism in U.S. children increased by 119.4% from 2000 to 2010, autism is the fastest growing developmental disability. Whereas despite the fact that autism is one of the most common developmental disorders, many professionals in the medical and educational fields are still unaware of the best methods to diagnose and treat the disorder. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Village of Round Lake Beach and Mayor, do hereby designate April 2015 as National Autism Awareness Month. We also recognize and commend the parents, relatives, and educators of children with autism for their sacrifice and dedication in providing for the special needs of children with autism. Therefore be it resolved, again, that the Village of Round Lake Beach proclaims the month of April 2015 as National Autism Awareness Month.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And just for the record, actually, if you wouldn't mind reading your resolution in support of the turnaround agenda also, kind of skipped over that.
Whereas Illinois state law creates a one-size-fits-all approach to collective bargaining for local units of governments. This approach creates added costs which are ultimately passed on to taxpayers. And whereas voters and local officials should determine what is a subject of bargaining, not the state. And whereas local control of bargaining would allow voters or local governments to determine if certain topics should be excluded from collective bargaining, including contracting wages, provisions of health insurance, use of employee time, required levels of staffing, procedures and criteria for personal evaluations. And whereas state law sets thresholds for workers on state and local construction projects, increasing costs significantly. And whereas state law has increased utilization of project labor agreements for construction projects. And whereas repealing the Illinois prevailing wage law and requirements for project labor agreements would allow local governments more control over construction and project costs. And whereas more than 280 unfunded mandates have been imposed in recent years on communities across Illinois, costing those communities billions. Rolling back mandates will create more flexibility in local government budgets. And whereas Illinois workers' compensation costs are the 7th highest in the nation and more than double the costs in Indiana. And whereas updating how injuries are apportioned to ensure employers pay for injuries that occur on the job, a clarification regarding the definition of traveling employees to ensure a reasonable standard that excludes risks that would impact the general public, and implementation of American Medical Association guidelines when determining impairment would result in major cost savings for local governments. And whereas voters in our community should be allowed to decide via referendum whether or not employees should be forced to join a union or pay dues as a condition of employment. And whereas local governments face unfunded liabilities that threaten core services and functions of government, state action on pension reform for future work should provide local governments the ability to address pension reform for future work as well. Therefore, be it resolved that the Village of Round Lake Beach endorses major reforms in state government that will encourage local control, reduce costs on local governments, empower local voters, and increase competitiveness in our community.
Thank you. And there was a couple key items in there. I talked about the prevailing wage. Whenever we bid a project out there, the contractors all have to pay a prevailing wage. That right, increase the cost of any project probably 20-25%. So that means that's much less of a project that we can do. So it takes a lot much longer to get anything accomplished. A lot of the other issues are dealing with what the state is overtaken for all the villages. We no longer control our own destiny. The state's told us what our destiny is, and that's going to change. It's got to go back to the residents of Round Lake Beach, not to the state of Illinois, to make those decisions. Thank you.
Mayor,
Go ahead.
we would like to, just on the resolution for National Autism Awareness, Trustee Mattingly is with us by phone, but Trustee Mount and I promised that we would give a shout out to his twin grandsons who do have autism. They are in Indiana, but they are going to be up here, so we wanted to give them a shout out. So it's to them, and also I have a nephew who has autism, so it does affect a few of us on this board. So, Trustee Mattingly, we did your shout out for your grandsons.
Thank you, Trustee Butler.
Yeah, you know, Trustee Mattingly has brought this to our attention several years ago, and we've passed every year, and we're going to continue doing that in the future. We do it for all the autistic children throughout, but it's special to us because of Jerry. He's special to us, and so is his grandchildren. So, I don't know, Jerry, if you want to say anything else, but this is something dear to all of our hearts.
Thank you very much for all your support, and as you know, for obvious reasons, it's a very near and dear cause for me, but also it affects so many families. Trustee Butler just mentioned that it has impacted her life as well, and it's a terrible condition that scientists truly don't know why at this point, but it's something that can be addressed. Unfortunately, it's as everything else, as the mayor has been preaching, it's all about money, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor.
Well, thank you for taking the time to do that. Is there a clerk's report tonight?
No, thank you.
Can move on to items of business then. We have item A, is a resolution declaring certain public safety vehicles as surplus. We've gotten a bunch of new squad cars, need to be rotating out the older ones, they'll be sold at auction, hopefully bring a little funds back into the village. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Valdez.
Second.
Second by trustee Butler. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
That's approved. Item B is an ordinance authorizing a lease for 118-acre court around Lake Beach, Illinois. This is a piece of property that we purchased a couple of years ago. In anticipation of the future extension of Hook Drive, we'll need that property for that. It was up for sale. We were able to get it at a decent price. So now it's going to be sitting vacant for a while until we're able to extend the road. We'd like to rent the house out to at least have some revenue coming in to help pay for it a little bit. Is there a motion to approve? Motion by
Second.
trustee Smith, second by trustee Mount. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
Trustee Smith. Trustee Butler.
Aye.
That's also approved. Item C is a resolution authorizing and approving an award of contract to USIC Locating Services, LLC, in an amount not to exceed $47,850. We've been doing Julie Locates in-house for many years now. We've been, also did a study in the last couple of years to see what it costs us in the manpower, equipment, so forth, to do the Julie Locates. And we also had to bid out the project itself. And I think we're saving about 40% by outsourcing the project of these Julie Locates. That way our men and women in Public Works can work on the projects that are probably more important to the residents than the locates are. And the locates are done by people that are professionals that do them all the time. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by trustee Butler,
Second.
second by trustee Husk. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
That's also approved. Item D is a resolution awarding a bid for certain expenditures for concrete repair. We held a joint bid with Grays Lake for repair of some of our sidewalks. The bids came in very good. Working with other municipalities has been very beneficial to the cost savings in the last couple of years, and we're going to keep on doing that with more and more projects. So I'd like the motion to approve that, the concrete repairs of the sidewalks. Motion by trustee Smith,
Second.
second by trustee Mount. Any questions by the board? Please call the roll.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez. Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
That's also approved. Item E is a resolution awarding the bid for certain expenditures for pavement marking, pavement patching, and crack sealing. This is another joint bid that we did to the Lake County Municipal League, where I'm the treasurer. Again, the prices came in quite good, since the size of the projects were much larger, having so many different communities put their projects together. We got some really good bids again, and we'd like to take advantage of that. Is there a motion to approve?
Second?
Motion by trustee Smith, second by trustee Butler. Any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Valdez.
Aye.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
That's also approved. Item F is an ordinance granting a special use permit with certain variations and departures for signage for lots M2 and M4 in the Mallard Creek Shopping Center, Round Lake Beach, Illinois. As you've probably all seen, they're tearing down the large majority of the Mallard Creek Shopping Plaza, the Dominick's, all the way over through the Walmart. They're making good progress on that. So they'd like to put up some new signage for the part that's going to be left there, so that they can identify this, the businesses that are still going to be located there, and a nice new sign. I know the Plan Commission reviewed this, gave a positive recommendation. John, anything else you'd like to say on that?
No, there's some additional redevelopment and future development that could occur on both of those outlots, so this will set the game plan for signage. It helps really to ease the administration and issuance of sign permits in the future when the new users come forward.
Anyone on the board have any questions? And is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Mount, second by trustee Husk. Once again, any questions? Please call the roll.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount.
Aye.
Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
That's also approved. That was our last item of business. We do have an executive session on the agenda. But before that, it is open to public participation. Anyone has a question or comment for the board, please come to the microphone, state your comment or ask your question.
My name is Elaine Fisher, and I live in 96 Honeysuckle Country Walk subdivision. Last week when we had the storm, my property was underwater there's a willow tree that is on my neighbor's property, but a majority of the tree is on my property. I called Public Works and asked them, because he's not gonna cut it down. He's not, last summer he didn't trim it. I have a magnolia tree that sits like in the middle of my property, and that tree was on top of my magnolia tree. So my neighbor and I went out and we trimmed the tree, because at some point he has kept the tree trimmed, but a majority of the tree is on my property. And last summer, he did not keep up with the tree. The landscapers just cut around it and whatever. But there's a lot of debris from the tree, a lot of debris. This year I said, if he's not gonna do anything about it, I'm going to call someone to come and cut the tree. I called Public Works because, my family has been in city government in Zion and North Chicago to try to go by, the law or whatever. And I was told by Public Works that you don't have to ask permission. If it's hanging over on your property, you can cut it. He came out Saturday when I was out with the landscaper, and I have a pipe coming out of my house that is not buried. And I've been trying to get it buried for years, but I keep getting conflicting information about how it should be buried. Should it be with that PVC pipe or whatever? My whole side of my property has been a flood zone ever since I've moved out there. Now out behind my tree with that those branches from the willow tree, I've always got a lake back there. But when it rained like it did last, I don't know what day it was, but Thursday or whatever, the water was practically at my basement window. And I have a relatively big backyard. All those properties were flooded, they were underwater. I keep an eye on the drain. My neighbor has stated, to me, I'll keep an eye on that drain for you. And he has, but he can't see everything. And after the waters finally subsided, which was the next day when you could see, the drain was covered with branches. I've contacted Public Works about this for years. They were out there last year. I've talked to them about the fact that my property was never graded the way it should have been because it's all different levels, which causes the water to sit out there. So he got upset with me Saturday. I said, I'm going to call Garth, this one man that we've used to cut and trim and everything. And he says, you do that and I'm suing you. I'm taking you to court. You can't you can't cut that tree. It's my tree. It's on my property, it's hanging over here, but you can't do anything about it. So I said, well, I had talked to Public Works and they told me I could. I talked to one woman on the phone the other day and she told me I could. And then later on, another lady called me because I told him I never get any callbacks from Public Works half the time. You have to act really ridiculous to get them to listen to you. So I came in here today and I said, well, since he's going to sue me, I think I need to be getting my little ducks in a row. And I told him I needed the ordinance that says that I can cut what's hanging on my property. And she says there is no ordinance. There's nothing. So if he decides he's going to take me to court, I don't have anything.
I believe that's a state issue.
You have,
Our attorney can,
yeah, the village doesn't regulate trees on private property and boundary disputes like that with trees. This is very common, obviously, where people's trees hang over and people refuse to cut them. The law, as I understand it in Illinois, is if it's hanging over your property, you can cut it, but you can't go on their property to cut it. You can do it from your side, because if you go on their property and they say you're trespassing, then you actually would be trespassing. So my understanding of the law is that you can cut it. Now, I would advise you to consult a lawyer to confirm that, but I think any tree service, reputable tree service that you call knows this because they get into this a lot, and I'm sure that they've had people threaten to have them arrested and call the police. But it's really a private matter, and as long as you use a reputable tree service, they should know what they can and can't do, because I'm sure that they're involved in it. But if you wanted to make sure for yourself, you should contact a lawyer and just talk to him or her about it and make sure that you feel comfortable before you take the action.
Okay.
you'd also mentioned about the sewer grate being covered. Is that on your property or is that in private,
It's-
public property?
It's not really on my property, it's like closer to my property. I basically kind of try to take care of it. And my neighbor around that willow tree, he's got all these sticks and branches piled up around it. And when the people from Public Works came out last year, they told me that was illegal or something, and that all those branches shouldn't be piled up around that tree. They said that's just forcing the water onto your property or something along those lines. Didn't they say that? That's my neighbor. She gets the willow tree branches and problems too.
She's the other neighbor. Yeah.
She doesn't have any problems whatsoever. They're all on my side. So that's about it. So I need to contact a lawyer and find out whether or not
tree issue-
I can legally,
My understanding is that you can, and if you talk to a reputable tree company, they'll say, all right, we're gonna come on your property and cut. And
I mean, my property, I don't care. I mean,
I know,
it's-
that's what I'm saying, is as long as they're on your property.
Yes,
They will come onto your property and they'll cut it back. They know what the rules are because they get into it all the time. But if you want to double check and feel extra secure yourself, then I would contact a lawyer on that issue.
okay.
Scott, are you where the property or where the grate is or anything else like that? Because I want to make sure that if that's something we need to clean regularly.
Yeah, well, I'll have our crews check it out tomorrow, and then We received several phone calls, and we had
Oh,
two
yeah.
crews out Thursday and Friday cleaning off obvious drainage structures. So we had 2 to 3 crews all day Friday cleaning drainage structures. And we'll check out your property as well tomorrow.
They didn't clean it. I asked my landscaper to clean it. And I don't really know if he did or not, but I kind of saw the guy next door going over the fence about an hour later because, you know, my neighbor and I had discussed I should go out there and take pictures of that. Because it was just covered with branches. That willow tree shouldn't, I mean, it's got an unlimited supply of water because that drain is there.
I know we received several phone calls with specific addresses, and we'd make a work order. So if you ask Public Works to make a work order to get a drainage clean, they will actually make a work order and send it to the superintendent to get the
We
crews out
asked
there.
them, after many years, to lower the drain, and they said they lowered it, but, you know, I didn't see them do it. They said they lowered it 4 inches. Didn't they say that last year? I mean, you know, to try to help with this problem. It's been, I can't have anything in my backyard. It's always mosquitoes and things back there.
I'll have them I'll look at the drain to see if they lowered it or not.
Thank you very much for bringing it to our attention. Any other comments or questions for the board? I think you were ready for a presentation to us. I don't think the board needed it, but thank you for being here. If there's other comments or questions, we do have an executive session tonight. We have a problem pending litigation, land acquisition, executive session minutes, and personnel. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Butler, second by trustee Valdez. Please call the roll.
Trustee Smith.
Aye.
Trustee Butler.
Aye.
Trustee Mount. Trustee Mattingly.
Aye.
Trustee Husk.
Aye.
Trustee Valdez.
That has been approved. We will be in executive session. We have on our agenda, after that, action on executive session items. We may or may not take any action on any of those items. You're welcome to stay, but it's not required. Thank you.